We have to talk about something very, very big, which is San Francisco mayor orders police, health, and other major departments to do huge cuts. And we're not talking about just a couple $1 million, we're talking about over $200 million because the city is actually going to a budget deficit. Now, the reason why San Francisco is going to the negatives is because so many of these small landlords, small business owners are just simply leaving. When you see San Francisco looking like this at nights and in the day, you kind of see why a lot of business owners are just simply packing up and they're just straight up leaving, right? This is what San Francisco looks like. And if you think this is just restricted to the Tenderloin district, well, think again. The Tenderloin district is no longer the place of massive drug use and also homelessness. It's now being leached out into like the Civic Center, Nob Hill, the Mission District, and several other places in San Francisco. So this is happening here, right? We're seeing this sort of scene. It's not normal to see this in San Francisco. It's not normal to see this in an American city. And San Francisco just never really addresses the true issue of the problem, which is if you just have a bunch of tents on the street, nobody's going to go there for vacation. Okay, if you have a bunch of drug use on the street, nobody's going to go there for business or anything else. And the thing about San Francisco and what a lot of people are saying is just clean it up, right? Get more cops on the streets, clean up the streets, and make it a safe environment and a clean environment. And you don't have to do any sort of advertising, and many people just start coming back. The only way for San Francisco to really reverse the course is to do some insanely big changes. Like, they're gonna have to clean up the streets, right? You can't be putting little band-aids over different situations and problems. You're gonna have to get to the root of the cause. Insane high amounts of drug use. There's drug use everywhere in San Francisco. There's tents everywhere. You can't actually move the tents. There's homelessness everywhere. And guess what? They're hosting this massive international APEC event. And many countries are pretty shocked to see San Francisco looking like a massive dump. And doing these cuts is going to neglect the city even further. In fact, what the city needs to do at this point is just to not do cuts. Because essentially they're also cutting like almost $30 million for law enforcement. I don't really think you should be cutting money from the law enforcement sector when law enforcement doesn't even have like enough personnel to address all the situations. People talk about how bad San Francisco is about responding to 911 calls. Well, that's because they're super understaffed, right? I'm sure some cops really want to help, but they're so understaffed to the point they can't do anything. Oh, what? Your store just got shoplifted? Good luck trying to get the cops there. They're not going to come for a shoplifting incident when there's all sorts of crazy things happening in the city. And I don't know what the city is doing, really. Like, I know they don't really want to start owing money and go into a budget deficit, but when you cut a bunch of money for several areas like public health, police department, and the fire department, yeah, this is basically like Gotham at this point. I mean, sure, there's still some pretty decent areas in San Francisco, but like I said, when these budget cuts go into effect, we'll be seeing an even massive decrease in quality of life. And we're going to be seeing more and more of this. And I think a lot of people are just kind of sick and tired of what San Francisco is doing. And what's worse is property prices are going down. People who own property in San Francisco who want to leave can't leave because they can't sell it for the price that they want to. And many of these units are going for super low prices. Like, look at this unit. It's in a pretty good neighborhood, too. Like Pacific Avenue. And this is a very good unit. Look at this. You got a living room, kitchen, stairs, all this good stuff. They recently just got another $10,000 price cut. Nobody wants it. 720 square feet. This would have been a unit that would easily sell for $1 million back in the old days. But now, nobody wants to buy. And same thing with some of these other condos. Like this one right here. Pretty high end, right? In a very good neighborhood. And you've got the views of the whole city. $749,000. It's something that's unheard of in San Francisco. And same thing with this unit here. Look at how nice it is. You got a big terrace you can see the whole city with, a little under 600 grand. That's a unit that you will never see listed for under 600 grand back before the pandemic. So you do see already real estate transactions are at an all-time low. We see a lot of these units being super duper cheap. And it's just not really looking so great for the whole entire San Francisco department. Now, if you look at Google, Google is also kind of done the whole San Francisco project. They thought about building 15,000 homes in the Bay Area in just 3 years. But the deal is off. There's pretty bad market conditions, and they won't really say why, but I could tell you there's nobody living in San Francisco anymore. There's a lot of people moving out of the Bay Area. Google thought about investing $15 billion in the next decade to just build campuses, downtowns in Silicon Valley, but they have totally scrapped the project. This project was brought up in 2018, 2019. That was the peak of the Bay Area real estate. But then, of course, after the pandemic, everyone starts noticing, oh, wow, my workers could be just as productive online. And I guess a lot of the workers are pretty cool working online because they could do other gigs, they could work in the pajamas. And many people who work online, they're actually pretty happy about it. So Google announcing for a huge residential campus is now off the table. And the reason why, I'm sure, is, like I said before, just insane amounts of homelessness, high crime, and like I said, there's no investors in the city anymore. Construction is at an all-time low. And look at this, right? Scenes from 7th and Market, the center of San Francisco's drug crisis. It used to be 7th and Market being a pretty decent area, but now even the Civic Center is crumbling. This is kind of what it looks like, and people are just simply not really that happy about the whole San Francisco situation. Homelessness is a daily occurrence, drug overdose as well, and there's not even enough police to handle all the situations. And it's getting so dangerous that even the newly opened IKEA doesn't have any business, right? If you look at IKEA, look at how empty this is. This is the new IKEA that opened up on Market Street. This is like right next to like some of the biggest tech companies, but now a lot of these tech companies are leaving. No clue why IKEA thought it was a good idea to move in when people are moving out. But this is kind of what IKEA gets, right? There's barely any people in the store. This is not a good place to open up a high-end IKEA store with like a food court and a buffet. And look at this. Because of the situation going on, Google made the right decision. Because San Francisco's metro area's new construction is at an all-time low. So on average, San Francisco makes about 3,000 units per year. It's a combination of condos and apartments and affordable units, right? So 3,000 housing units per year on average. Now they're making about 500. So do the calculations here. If you're making about 3,000 homes a year and now you're making 500, something's wrong with your city. And this is exactly what's happening. We're seeing whole entire new construction condo units being foreclosed because they can't find a buyer and they can't find a renter. We're seeing some of the biggest property bubbles just simply bursting. Look at downtown San Francisco. A lot of these massive office units back in 2018, 2019 would have easily been rented out. But now vacancies are soaring up to 40%. Vacancies for offices used to be under 5%. And people actually go nuts trying to get like a nice office space. Because back in the old days, if you make a tech company, you have to go to San Francisco. It's basically mandatory. If you want the talent, if you want to meet the VCs. But now everyone's working online and everyone's moving out of the city. And it's a very sad thing to see San Francisco really just crumbling right now. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. Let's hope San Francisco gets back on its feet. But right now, it just doesn't seem that way. Like I said, I think San Francisco needs some of the biggest changes to really turn around. See you guys later.